So, Bayonetta, director Hideki Kamiya's spiritual successor to the fantastic origin of over-the-top action games.
Devil May Cry. Made by Platinum Games, the same people behind Metal Gear Rising, this game takes the over-the-top dial of DMC, cranks it up to the maximum before realising there's a second dial that amplifies the effect by 10. This game is batshit insane right from the word go. The beginning of the game is you fighting angels on a clock tower that is falling down a cliff.
And that's just the opening.
From there, the game wraps us up in a story about a witch fighting angels trying to recover the memories of who she is. Let's talk about Bayonetta's design. It's certainly cool as fuck and plays very much into the femininity of the character without feeling over-sexualised, and any aspect of her that is feels like it plays into her character rather than just being for fan service. Bayonetta was designed by Mari Shimazaki, with some input from Hideki Kamiya. He wanted a female lead, who was a modern witch, who uses 4 guns. The rest was all entirely her design. Bayonetta's clothes are actually made from her hair, which is why when she uses Wicked Weave attacks, it seems as if she becomes naked. This is a really cool touch that adds to the lore of this world, and once again, adds to Bayo's character. Hideki Kamiya also pushed for Bayo to have glasses to make her stand out among other female or action game characters. Sega, the publisher, was very hesitant to this choice, but Kamiya pushed it so much that most of the main cast in the game wear glasses.
One thing I'll say about the game is that it is hard. Pube-ripping hard. I don't need a Manscaped sponsor after playing this game.
I started the game on normal because I didn't want to play in automatic mode, but after chapter 3, I had to turn the difficulty down, because I was getting destroyed by normal combat encounters, which left me with no health for bigger enemies or for the boss fights. This game demands perfection at times, and I am nowhere near perfect, so forgive me for turning down the difficulty.
However, I remembered to unequip the item to make the combos automatic, so that I still have to learn the combos and play the game properly, just with easier enemies. I kept going like this up until I finished chapter 5, and at that point decided that I didn't want to continue to play Bayonetta because I wasn't gripped by it.
Despite her cool design, I just wasn't interested in Bayonetta's story. Getting her memories back wasn't that interesting, since I didn't actually know much about Bayonetta at all. Even her personality hardly comes through most of the time, and that really is a shame in a character action game. I also felt that the game was banking on me really enjoying the randomness and spectacle of everything, but I just felt confused, and it also felt a little bit try-hard sometimes. The combat here was very engaging, but I had issues of attacks coming out a little too quick with certain enemies, so that I would be mid-attack animation and get hit, since I couldn't cancel to dodge. Plus, the combos are not as easy to remember as something like Devil May Cry, meaning that I ended up just spamming the buttons in random orders, and things would happen. I also felt that the bosses were pretty hit or miss. Some of them were reasonable, but most still suffer with the same problem that normal enemies have, of attacks coming out too quickly to even react, and it produced more frustration than I want to get better, because it felt like I was taking unavoidable damage. This isn't me saying the damage is unavoidable, by the way, but I'm saying it feels that way, which I personally just didn't like.
The levels weren't much to write home about either, since they were honestly kind of bland and weren't that interesting to fight through, so let's go back to the bosses. I'm sure the cutscenes before and after bosses were revealing some lore about the story, which would be great if I could understand what they were fucking saying.
I elected to play without subtitles, like a lot of people probably did, and I had no fucking idea what these bastards were even saying, but Bayo would reply as if I knew what was happening. Also, when I started the game, the, I would argue, game crucial HUD was off by default, meaning I played this part on the plane 3 times before having to look up why I kept failing, and it's because I didn't know torture attacks were a thing that the game was trying to teach me about. I was also constantly thrown off by the presentation of cutscenes. It was very jarring to be watching a fully animated cutscene for it to suddenly cut to still images on a film reel, and I never really enjoyed this style of presentation. I honestly think the whole thing should have been either fully animated or in this film reel style. It would at least be consistent and not rapidly switching between the two.
That's all I can say about Bayonetta. I thought I would have enjoyed this game a lot more, as it seems to be right up my street, but I just wasn't grabbed by the characters or the world, and the gameplay didn't feel fair enough for me to want to keep playing it. I really did want to enjoy it, but I just couldn't get past all of these issues. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.